So Richard, what do we use then? Is it I can't use Facebook, can't use Instagram, no Meta products, no Google products. Is Apple okay?
There is no okay. See, this is the problem, Ish. There is absolutely an okay, and that's why this issue about how much okay is okay. It's
Right.
got to be a personal decision about how much you bite in to a platform and what you use it for. And like I said, you want to use Amazon? Use Amazon. Do yourself a favor and read the terms, the privacy terms, and understand what happens to your data, and then make the decision. And maybe you have no problem with that. That's up to you. Maybe you have no problem with Jeff Bezos knowing your credit score. And you're right. At one hand, who cares? Or knowing, but he also knows your browser history, and he also knows what you're using and not using on your laptop. He knows your laptop history. He knows all the cookies that you have. So he knows who you are. Now, that data to Amazon might not affect your life, but what Amazon does with that and how they sell that on to whether that's a government entity or another private business that you might be interacting with in the future, that you'll find, I don't understand why I can't get that car loan, or I don't qualify for that job position, or whatever it is. There's no privacy on any of those platforms. So you can't, I'm not in a position to advocate one's better than the other, but everyone requires a conscious decision by the user to understand what is being traded. How much of my skin, sorry, I've had a
Go
lot of
for it.
coffee today. Do
No
you
worries.
do you know that there's an Indian tribe? When I was a kid, I used to be fascinated by American Indians, and there's an Indian tribe that used to be afraid that if you took their picture, it would take a little bit of their soul, and so they hated to be photographed because they didn't understand photography, and they'd see the picture and feel like, the photograph stole the piece of their soul. And it's called kleptography, the fear of having your picture taken
Mhm.
based on this, that it takes a little something from you. That's what the internet does. Every time you log on, it takes a little piece of you, whether you know it or not. And maybe it just takes skin or something that doesn't hurt. But after a while, you don't know until you know, until you apply for health care and you can't get it and you don't know why. Because you and I, our personal data is monetized and sold, and we don't seem to care about that.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not
And
yet.
I've listened to Tristan Harris give this example of the voodoo doll. As you use a
Yeah.
social media site more and more, they get to construct that voodoo doll more, create a profile of you, and are able to advertise to you in a more direct and personalized manner. Is
That's
that
your
accurate?
algorithm. No, that's very, that's the voodoo valve that is your a result of your algorithm, who you are, what you do, where you go, determine where you will go, all of that information. No, no, very accurate, extremely accurate. And what you're asking me is, does it matter that someone out there has a voodoo doll that can predict your next move and hurt you with that information? My answer is most certainly. That's that we're well down that route as a society, and we're not going to change that. And telling somebody not to use this app or not to use that app, there are so many things you could do to reduce that profile, to reduce that footprint that you leave behind, that digital footprint, that digital DNA that you and you leave on the web every time we use the internet.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's still there. It's still there like a photograph, and in the wrong hands, that voodoo doll can cause you a lot of pain.